What's going on, everyone? Bobbybarks here, and welcome back to my Director of Football Challenge here on FM24. This is episode 3, and we've just appointed Ruud van Nistelrooy to lead us into the next season. So in terms of transfers, ins and outs, towards the end of the 24-25 season, so we've not quite moved over into the new season just yet, we brought 2 players in on the 10th and 11th of June, that being Ansu Fati from Barcelona for 60 million and Giorgio Scalvini from Atalanta for 90 million. That's 150 million we've spent even before we've transferred over to the new season. Nobody has left the club as yet. However, when we move over to 25-26, you'll see a lot more incomings and outgoings. So here we are, sorted by transfer value then, and we'll start with the ins. Michael Coyote coming in from Fiorentina, 53 million. He is a right back. He will provide competition with Fresneda. Restes is a goalkeeper for up to £60 million. You can see why on the right hand side I've brought him in. And Sver Halseth Nyapan from Rosenborg for up to 6.25 million. He is a bit of a wonder kid, so he'll probably come in to the reserves or the youth team, perhaps even being loaned out at some point. But he is a future prospect. Jonathan David from Lille was available for free. His contract had expired, and I thought I'd bring him in, just give Ruud van Nistelrooy some options there in the wings and striker positions. And if nothing else, I should be able to make a profit on the kid. So that was worth doing, I felt. So in terms of transfers outs then, bit of a controversial 2, really. In Diogo Costa and João Felix. Felix has only been with us a short period of time. We brought him in January earlier this year for 23 million. However, Barcelona were desperate to take him, probably because I took Ansu Fati from them. So they wanted Felix and he wanted Barcelona. He wanted to go back to Spain. So I accommodated that for him. He's gone for 40 million. Diego Costa was one I didn't really want to do, but Chelsea won the Premier Division and won the Champions League and are a fairly big club in this save at the minute. And Costa wasn't letting it go. He desperately wanted to leave. He was kicking up a fuss. And I know I could have just let that play out and he could have done nothing. But I didn't want Van Nistelrooy getting off to a bad start with that mentality and culture in the dressing room. So I let him go because I managed to bring Restes in. So I wouldn't have done that if Restes wasn't available. And as you can see, he came in 5 days after Costa left. So that was already in the works as Costa was going. Bayern Dai is one of our third choice keepers. He's gone permanently now to West Ham for 8 million. Daniel Gore was a youth prospect. Looked alright, but you know, I don't think he was ever going to get used, so I might as well get some money for him. He's gone to Brentford, 9.25 million. And Diego Dalot has now moved on permanently to AC Milan for up to 36.5 million. The fact I've got Fresneda and Coyote, I didn't want Dalot anywhere near the starting 11. So that's what we've done. We're on the 2nd of September. Let's see how Van Nistelrooy has started the season. Well, he started off okay, had an away win at Crystal Palace 4-1, fantastic start, but then he's lost 4-2 at home to Southampton, which was a bit of a surprise, and then he's drawn away at Everton. So, mixed start. I think he got off to a flyer, and then the next 2 games have been a bit, what's going on there? So, we'll see how it goes. I'll be hugely disappointed if Van Nistelrooy isn't successful given the squad that he's now got, which we'll have a look at next. Just to show you there, though, that we've got the Europa League phase already drawn, and that should be a competition that we're targeting to win. We'll have a look at that now. So in terms of the big teams that's in there, Lazio and Marseille, Real San Sebastian are in there as well, which are a fairly biggish club. Monaco, Wolfsburg, Nice, Anderlecht. They're all teams we should be beating. Lazio and Marseille are probably the biggest challengers to us to winning this, but with the squad that we've now got, this should be Van Nistelrooy's to lose. I'll be hugely disappointed if he doesn't win this, or at least get to the final. So we'll see how he goes with that. Let's have a look at the squad. So this is what he's got available to him. I'd expect Restes to be the starting goalkeeper, and he has played the first 3 games, albeit he's only got an average rating of 6.23. Scalvini and probably Diamande should be his starting centre-backs. It looks like Martinez has played a few, but have been playing at left-back. We'll have a look at that soon. Theo Hernandez has played 3 games as well, so he's probably been the left-back. But yeah, I mean, he's got Restes. For right-back, he's got Coyote or Fresneda. It looks like Coyote's probably been playing. I tell you what he might be doing. He might be playing Diamande at right-back, which would be a bit frustrating. I think that's what it looked like is happening, to be honest. I think Diamande is playing right back and Scalvini and Martinez are playing centre back. Hernandez is playing left back. It looks like Sattelberger's starting there in defensive midfield. I've been trying to move Yunus Musa on, but I can't move him on at the minute. Pizarro looks like he's been getting some game time. Mainu hasn't started or even appeared yet this season. Mason Mount is starting games. Arda Ghoul is nowhere to be seen. Desiree Doué, who we brought in Season 1, he's not getting much game time. Neither is Paul Warner. Jadon Sancho's had a couple of substitute appearances. He's wanted at the minute. Jonathan David's had a substitute appearance. In terms of starters, Rashford and Fati have both been playing. Garnacho is back from his loan spell. He's had a substitute appearance there. And obviously we've still got Højlund and Ferguson challenging for that striker position. Garnacho, Fati, Rashford and David can also play striker. So he's got a number of options there that he can toy around with. But I think if Warner and Doué and Gula are not getting game time, we need to try and loan those out at some point. But we'll see how it goes. With us being in the Europa League, I'd like to think everyone would get a fair amount of game time. But that's a pretty impressive squad. I'd be happy with that squad if I was the coach, and I think I'd win the league with that squad. So let's see how Ruud van Nistelrooy gets on. So after we won 1, drew 1 and lost 1 in the opening 3 games, Ruud managed to repeat that feat, starting with a 0-0 draw at home to Spurs. Followed by a comfortable 2-0 win at home to Sheffield United. Chelsea had won the Premier League and the Champions League last season, and our first trip to Stamford Bridge since then started off quite well. Coyote's long ball in saw Rashford rise above James to give us the lead in the 40th minute. And then in the 82nd minute, Mason Mount put in a wonderful cross, saw Ferguson rise above everybody and Diego Costa fumbling it into his goal. We're 2-0 up with 8 minutes to go. But with just 2 minutes to go, Chelsea were given too much time, and the ball finally laid out to Sterling, whose low drive beat Restes and gave Chelsea hope with a minute left to play. At 2 minutes into stoppage time, a free kick was hopefully cleared by Pizarro, but he passed it straight to Rodriguez for some reason. He laid it back to James, whose cross found Osimhen, and Chelsea had pulled level. And then just a minute later, Chelsea were attacking again, Romeo Lavia finding James, who found Nicholas Jackson, and his low curling drive went past Restes, which saw us leaving Stamford Bridge with absolutely nothing. The game finished 3-2, and we conceded 3 goals in 5 minutes. We then managed to pick up wins at home to Nottingham Forest and away to Leicester, but a 2-0 home defeat to Leeds United saw us crashing back down to earth, which was followed by a 1-0 home defeat against Brentford. It wasn't all bad though. We managed to craft a win at Aston Villa thanks to goals from Rasmus Højlund and Marcus Rashford. A 5-1 win away at Brighton saw Rasmus Højlund grab a hat-trick, and that was followed up by a 3-0 home win against West Ham. However, a run of games against Liverpool, Arsenal and Manchester City saw us picking up just 1 point from 3 games. Well, it's not going well, is it? He's in 7th place, he's lost 6 games, drawn 4, only won 10, 34 points, 5 points off Newcastle, who are in 4th place. Brentford and Aston Villa are above him. Crystal Palace are right below him. The fact that Arsenal and Liverpool are doing absolute rubbish makes it probably look better than what it is, but it's not been good. We've only scored 33 goals, conceded 22. Let's have a look at the squad sorted by average rating. So Højlund's doing okay. He scored 16 in 24. Rashford's got 9 in 23. Coyote looks like he's been the starting right back. Got a decent 7.08 average rating. Mainu's had a number of starts now in centre midfield. 8 goal contributions in 11 starts is pretty good. He's playing all right. Garnacho is playing very well. He's come back and doing good after his loan spell. Barco's out on loan and seems to be doing quite well out there too. Theo Hernandez, he's got 8 assists from left back, which is pretty impressive. Scalvini, Diamande, I mean, they're playing all right. They're not getting the results, are they? Let's have a look at what's been happening in the cup competitions. Well, we've only lost the one game, which was away at Monaco, which is all right, I guess. Conceded 5, scored 15. We are top at the minute. There's 2 games remaining, so we'll see how we get on there. But he's been doing okay. We said that the biggest challengers would be Lazio and Marseille, who are both in the playoff spots. Nice, Torino and Monaco are challenging us up there at the minute. It depends who we've got left in the remaining 2 fixtures. It looks like his next match is at home to Stuttgart from Germany, which is a winnable game in my eyes, so that should see us through to the next round. And then his closing game is again at home to the Hungarians, Ferencváros. So that should be another 6 points on the board as far as I'm concerned. We should be comfortably going through to the round of 16. I can't even begin to explain what happened here. We got FM'd. They had 2 shots on target and scored 2 goals, and we played absolutely horrendous. But losing at home in the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup to Oxford, of all teams, is just unbelievable. It wasn't like we put out a poor side either. That's a pretty much first team 11, and that's terrible. Absolutely terrible. That's a disastrous result. And it looks like he's playing a 4-1-2-1, which is a formation that I quite like, but just for whatever reason didn't seem to work out, did it? Rashford and Fati on the wings, Ferguson up front, Mount and Pizarro, Sattleberg sitting behind them, Diamande and Scalvini, Coyote on the right, Hernandez on the left, Estes in goal. I mean, it's a very strong side. 26 shots, 10 on target. I mean, they've played... I want to say they've played well. They've not played well, have they? But there's some, there's 5 of them there that have got a 7 or above average rating. Terrible result. Is it a freak result? Hopefully. Well, I've jumped to the end of the January transfer window and you can see some more ins and outs. So we brought in Rooney Barge and Oscar Glauc. Glauc is somebody that played for me on my Spurs save. He was very good and I kind of trust him. I think bringing him in is helpful. 15.75 million is a bit of a snippet for him. And Rooney Barge, 18 million going up to 21. He was at Paris Saint-Germain, but he wasn't getting any game time. And as a consequence, they were happy to let him come to us. I think that's a smart bit of business. We've let Warner go out on loan to Ipswich. Anthony has also gone out on loan to Granada for a total fee of 1.4 million. And Jonathan David is the guy that we brought in for nothing. He wasn't really playing, so we've managed to get 21 million for him. Nice little profit. Jadon Sancho's moved on to Spurs. A lot of our players go to Spurs for some reason. He's gone for 30.5 million. And we've also loaned out Martin Vitic to Peterborough. I think he was the kid that was our first signing when we became the director of football, and he's not quite made the step up to the first team yet, so we've loaned him out for some game time and some experience. So yeah, we'll see how we get on, but he's got a fairly good squad here. He should be challenging for the Champions League spots and winning that Europa League, and he's obviously got the FA Cup. Try and get far in. I'll be disappointed if we don't get some silverware, or if we don't finish in the top 4 and we don't win any silverware. You'd have to say that Van Nistelrooy's job is at risk. Let's see how he does for the rest of the season. Losing 3-1 away at Tottenham, though, seemed to be the bit of a catalyst for a decent run. An 8-game unbeaten run saw us score 17 goals and drop in just 4 points, with wins against Everton, Sheffield United, Nottingham Forest, Leicester, Leeds and Bournemouth. But then 3 defeats in 4, losing away at Newcastle and Brentford, and losing at home 2-0 to Brighton after we'd beaten them 5-1 earlier in the season, coupled with an away defeat at Brentford as they did the double over us. And Brentford seemed to have replaced West Ham as the bogey team following a comfortable 2-0 win away at the London Stadium. But the victory at West Ham was our last win of the Premier League campaign, losing 2 and drawing 2 of the remaining 4 games didn't end the season particularly well. The FA Cup quarter-final against Birmingham City saw us drawing and going through to penalties. Everyone stepping up seemed to be putting the ball in the back of the net. But up stepped Usman Diomande and his penalty was saved by McCarthy, and Birmingham was celebrating a 10-9 penalty shootout win and a spot in the semi-finals at our expense. Things seemed to get off to a good start in the Europa League though, when Mason Mount's first shot was blocked by his own player, but his second attempt found the back of the net. And the second goal came just before half-time when Rashford danced around the players in the box and scored a wonderful finish, making it 2-0 against FC Midtjylland. We followed that up with a nice 4-1 victory over Nice, with a repeat scoreline away at Austria Vienna. We got a 3-1 away win at Sheriff Tiraspol, and a Garnacho penalty was enough to give us a 2-1 win over Braga. And our only defeat in the group stage has come away at Monaco after Ismail Jakobs scored a 93rd minute winner. Then came the German side, Stuttgart, but after some nice little play between Güler and Rashford with a 1-2, we took the lead on 22 minutes. Arda Güler turned provider for the second goal, playing a 1-2 with Pizarro before finding Sancho, who blasted the ball in, giving us a 2-0 win. We closed out the group stage with a 4-1 win against Ferencváros, and then up next in the round of 16 was Austria Vienna, a team that we'd played in the group stages and found no problem in defeating, 2-0 away in Vienna and a 1-1 draw at home, saw us go through to the quarter-finals. The first leg was at Old Trafford, and when Shaw won a beautiful header down to Garnacho, his cross found Højlund, and in the opening minute we were 1-0 up, and despite peppering the goal throughout the game, that opening minute was enough to seal the victory. We also got the 1-0 victory away in Torino, with Mason Mount scoring on 48 minutes. The semi-final stage saw us up against Monaco, which was the only team to beat us in the group stage. However, on 33 minutes, Ansu Fati found Mason Mount, who put us in a comfortable lead. And just 1 minute later, Marcus Rashford found Rasmus Højlund, who made it 2-0. And despite Monaco getting a goal back in the 73rd minute, we managed to hang on and claim the victory in Monaco. And Monaco didn't really offer much going forward in this match. We were fairly comfortable throughout, and when Rashford let the ball run for Højlund, he made it 1-0, and that was enough to see us out and make it to the Europa League final. And in the final, we'd play another team from the group stages, and when Theo picked up the ball on the left-hand side and was brought down in the box, he stepped up to take the penalty himself and gave us a comfortable 1-0 lead. The lead lasted an hour, and Stuttgart had not really offered anything in attack at all. Arda Güler's ball found Ferguson, and his neat little chip over Seaman made it 2-0. Ferguson wrestled through the defence to make it 3-0 with a low left foot drive, and Ruud van Nistelrooy was claiming his first trophy as Manchester United head coach. Well, we managed to win the Europa League, and really pleased that Van Nistelrooy's managed to bring some trophies back to Old Trafford. However, the league position is not great. We finished 8 points behind Arsenal and 36 points behind Chelsea. We're falling further and further behind in challenging for that title, and I get that Chelsea have been really good, winning 31 of the 38 games. That's pretty impressive, to be fair. But with 62 points is not a lot of points for a club like Manchester United. We've lost 12 games and drawn 8. That's, and only won 18. So we've won less than 50% of his games, which is not good. So, yeah, great news that we've won the Europa League. Terrible that we went out of the quarter-final of the FA Cup to Birmingham, of all teams, and only a 6th place finish within the league. So, I'm not quite sure what to do about Ruud at the minute, whether we leave him in charge for another season or whether we make a change. I guess it depends on what kind of coach is available, but we'll see. Let's have a quick look at the squad. So this is it sorted by average rating, and Rashford, 18 goals in 46. He's been brilliant, to be fair. Him and Højlund have been very good, consistently good since the start of this save. Theo Hernandez has been a revelation at left back. He's been very good for us. Ferguson's done well when he's come in and deputised for Højlund, so I'm content with the strikers, and I'm content with the left-hand side with Rashford and Hernandez playing down that left-hand side. Coyote's come in and done really well at right back, so I'm happy with him and Fresneda there. I think it's probably the centre midfield that I'm a little bit concerned about, and perhaps the formation. I feel like there needs to be somebody like an attacking midfielder floating in behind behind Højlund. Van Nistelrooy's playing himself, player manager. Probably still could do a job, to be fair to him. So yeah, I think other than that, the squad's pretty good. Restes hasn't done as well as I would have liked in goal, but he's still young. There's still time for him to develop. Centre backs I'm happy with. I don't think there's much we need to do there. Diamande, Scalvini are pretty good. And then Martinez is still here from the start. He's done alright when he's played. I do feel like they play Martinez more than they should, because I think Diamande and Scalvini should be that centre-back pairing, but he keeps throwing Martinez in there. Fatty's not done brilliant, has he? He's just got 6 goal contributions in 31. But he's not done brilliantly. But I think Bargy should probably be playing down the right, or Gula could play down the right as well. I think it's just that centre midfield. I think we need to focus his attention on centre midfield. He's not playing the younger kids, so we've got like Glauc and Doué that could play there, but he's not playing them. He seems to be going with Mason Mount, who's, he's done alright. 22 goal contributions in 48. It's not bad. I'm struggling for ideas of where to improve this, so I think you guys need to tell me what do we need to do to try and improve this. How do we progress? It's a good squad, so it's got to be down to the coach. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Do we need to improve any areas of this squad? And if so, how? Who do we look at going to get? Well, these are all the players that are interested in coming to us. And at the minute, we've only got just shy of 29 million, so we're not going to be able to buy some of the top players. Thuram, perhaps? He could be he's got an A+ from the scouts, so he could perhaps be a player that we could look to bring in. Is a lot of money, though. We'll have to find some cash from somewhere if we want to bring him in. But I know he is a good centre midfielder. Bretes is a good centre midfielder. I'm not quite sure. Well, Corrier's 31 now anyway, plus 201 million. A bit much for us. Let's have a look at the recommendations. There's a lot of A+s there. Frank Kessie's available. Ruben Neves are available. Their contracts are expiring, so we could look at bringing those two in, I guess. Vita Roque is fairly cheap for his ability. Casado's another one we could potentially look at bringing in. Saka's interested. Out on that right-hand side. That'd be impressive, wouldn't it? Saka on the right. Rashford on the left. That might not be a bad shout. Need some money, though. Rubin's available as well, goalkeeper down there. He's a very good goalkeeper. Be an improvement on Restes, I feel. Oh, let me know. Do we stick with the coach and try and improve the centre midfield? Do we remove the coach, despite him winning the Europa League? Choices. Tell me what you think. But for now, that's all, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.